Hello everyone, and welcome to this latest entry in my video series all about how I'm working to overcome my fear of flying through VR. In this video, I'd like to talk about something that's become a little unsettling for me since I've developed this fear of flying, and that is the mechanical noises that I hear on a flight. For me, flying in planes isn't something that I do all the time. It's more of a rare occurrence. In a normal year, I have about 2 to 3 trips. Because of that, I don't really have enough time or travel frequency to get used to the noises and sounds that are common to airline travel. When I hear a noise that's unexpected or just different than the normal sounds on an airplane in cruise mode, it can throw me for a loop as my anxious brain starts wondering if everything is okay on the flight. Is that a normal noise? Is something wrong that I'm the only one aware of? These are all negative thoughts that can race through my head as I fly nervously. So today, I wanted to talk about some of these totally normal noises that are common to flights on commercial jets, and talk about how, through research online, I've learned about what causes these noises and how they're an essential part of aviation. I also simulate them in virtual reality, and that knowledge helps me be calmer when I hear those noises in a real flight. The first noises that I'd like to talk about are the noises that the airplane's flaps and slats make. I could go into a longer aerodynamic explanation, but basically flaps are used to allow the plane to slow down, to be more maneuverable at slower speeds, or to have more lift, letting the plane get off the ground easier at slower speeds. The flaps come into play most often during takeoff and landing. That's why, when I'm getting ready for a flight, at some point before the takeoff, I'll hear and possibly see the flaps going down. In the simulator, they sound like this. That's a totally normal sound. It will vary, of course, from plane to plane, and of course, this is a simulator, so real life will be different, but it is a normal, even required part of flight. We can listen to it here as part of the landing, seeing that as we get closer to the airport, more and more flaps get applied. The second type of noise I want to talk about is the engine noise. There's the regular, constant drone of the engines during the background of normal cruise flight, but the engine will also cycle in power depending on how the plane is flying. So if a plane needs to pick up speed and/or climb in altitude, the engines will throttle up a little bit. If the plane is descending or slowing down, the engines will throttle down and go to a lower power setting. These changes can happen during active phases of the flight, such as during the climb or during the descent, or it can happen due to temporary changes like turns or changing altitudes in order to avoid turbulence. The changes in pitch and frequency of the engines are part of the normal operation of the plane itself. The third type of noises I'll cover briefly here, and maybe at some point in the future cover in a separate video, are the chimes and dings I hear as part of the airplane communication system. They're associated with the fasten seatbelt sign, as well as the various communications that the pilot and flight attendants use amongst themselves as part of a normal operation of a flight. These chimes are sometimes unexpected, but they are a completely normal aspect of airline travel. While there are some differences among the world's airlines, for the most part, the chimes are consistently used to either communicate something to the passengers, such as when it's time to fasten or unfasten seatbelts, or when it's time to communicate to or among the flight attendants about the various phases of normal flight operations, such as when to start the meal service, or when to get the cabin ready for landing. Educating myself about the different noises I hear on board the plane, and practicing my responses to these noises in virtual reality, have helped me to equip myself with the knowledge that these things are all part of a normal flight, and not anything I need to be nervous about on a plane. By thinking about and practicing listening to these sounds in virtual reality flight simulators, it helps me to become more prepared for when I hear them on a real flight. For helpful links to resources I talked about here, please check out the video description. If you have any personal experiences or thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments. And of course, if you like this video and would like to see more content like this, hit those like and subscribe buttons below the videos. Please keep in mind I'm not a licensed therapist or mental health professional. These videos document my personal experiences and should be taken as entertainment only.